Welcome back. Well, right before the break, we were talking about the Army Corps of Engineers closing the Mississippi River earlier than ever. So much of this crop in Illinois, they're having, emergency storage is almost full, temporary storage. They need to get this crop out. So, I asked Andy, I want your opinion, what hangover effect could we have from this crop not getting out?
Well, the thing is, if you look at the way we're set up right now, producers are still hoping for more movement in the market in their direction. They're waiting for yet higher prices, not really wanting to move a lot of corn right now. But if it goes higher, you might see that happen. The problem is we're also moving into that time of the year where they don't really like to move it because it's tough to do it. The snow, the cold, it just makes things tough to move. You've got all these piles sitting out there. So what naturally begins to happen is we push all of that forward and then everything comes to a head at once. Farmers want to move grain, the commercials need to move grain, and this massive pressure on basis comes in, and we see the cash market soften and drags futures right with it. So the hangover effect is that this winter could be a bit brutal from a price perspective.
Well, speaking of piles of corn, let's talk about China. Their harvest, you have an idea of kind of what the crop looks like. Are we going to see a shortage of any of our major crops over there this year?
No, not at all, actually. There was drought in the summer, but there were some late saving rains that kind of hit in August, and so projections are probably something in the 215-ish million metric ton crop, which is enough. You look at their demand. So I don't see the situation being resolved with corn imports from them because they don't need them to be resolved. And the same thing with the DDGs. They may work something out later this year. But the bean paste should stay strong, but there's going to be excess corn here and there, and that's not very good.
No. So do you think that they will cancel more shipments from the U.S. possibly of corn?
I don't see them taking hardly any corn this year.
Okay.
I just don't. Maybe DDGs next summer if the crop weather's poor, but I don't see anything big happening right now.
So if we lose some of that demand, and let's say they're not going to South America as well, South America has a good crop, then where's their crop going to go? Where could we lose demand somewhere else in the world?
And that's really the point of concern for producers at this point. If you look at the big picture, we have created this factory, if you will, of corn production around the world. The factory got built on $6, $7, $8 corn, and it's there and it's operating at capacity. And we have moved corn into every corner of the globe, and there's piles of it in different places that we didn't used to have piles. Andy points out China having a great crop. We had a great crop. South America's building their reserves. This issue, as we work our way forward, Tyne, is going to be a problem getting into next year because the amount of supply is caught the demand, and until that demand either increases significantly, which with the softer world economics that we have right now isn't very likely, or we reduce production significantly, there isn't going to be much of a change. And again, the factory's built. You don't just idle the factory in these other parts of the globe.
Well, speaking of demand over in the dairy sector, I was reading an article this week that talked about amazing profits, but they said, it's a year of healing. It's making up for those years that they just bled. The profits were awful. Yeah. So when we look at that, do you still think we'll have some expansion in the dairy industry if the profits do hold true?
Well, the expansion is taking place as we speak. Right now, because of the profitability that did come and the healing that has taken place and the opportunity that's still intact, there is expansion taking place, and that will likely continue into the 2015 calendar. The question will be, how do we move forward from there? Right now, if you look at world product prices, we have cheese prices coming out of the Oceania region, New Zealand, Australia at about $1.24. Eastern Europe has got cheese prices at about $1.07. We're at $1.70. Way over the market. It's going to be hard for us to export into that space and maintain the kind of profitability we need to keep that expansion rolling.
Andy, any other sectors of the livestock industry where we could see some major expansion?
Well, it's a slow process, and I would look at this year similar to '09 in the corn and beans and wheat market, and it's going to be really flat, and it takes 6 months for hogs to kind of really get where they need to be. Chickens a little quicker, cattle, the market that goes up forever, it seems like, but farmers paid storage and they use it like a call option and they won't price until it kicks out, and so that's the next time you see big farmer movement. And I think guys need to price the carry because the price may not be there when they get there this
All
year.
right. Well, I talked to a lot of livestock farmers who say, $8 corn, it still hurts. And so they're still, they're cautious when it comes to expansion. All right. We're going to get their closing thoughts when we come back on U.S. Farm Report, so don't go anywhere.
Watch for future updates on the Journey to Harvest in Farm Journal, on AgriTalk, and U.S. Farm Report. Brought to you by DuPont Pioneer.